Well, I'm here with Jim Clifton and the car number 13. Jim, I was on my way over just a short while ago to pick up my pit pass, and you were telling me an interesting story. You're headed up to Flagstaff. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what happened this week?
Well, we left over at Manzanita and started home after on Sunday morning. We drove up to Flagstaff. We'd heard they were having races down here, so we didn't have anything to do this week, so we decided to turn around and come back.
Word has it that you're retired now and you're not necessarily running the circuit, but you're just going to different towns and racing. Is that true?
Well, somewhat. I retired about a month ago, and of course I started racing about 5 years ago, and we're just kind of cruising around doing what we like to do until at least we can start racing in our area, up in the Colorado area. But right now they don't start our race until next month up there. So
how does this track compare with some of the tracks that you've raced at across the country?
It's a super good facility. It's probably one of the nicest racetracks we've ever seen. And not saying we've seen a lot of racetracks, but we've seen quite a few, and it's excellent. So we're really impressed with it.
Well, I've got somewhat of a surprise for you. I was told you didn't know about this. Did you know that you're headlining our program this evening? They've got a picture of you and a story all about you this afternoon.
Well, that's nice. I didn't realize that, no.
Have you ever raced against any of these fellows before?
Yeah, we've raced with them. We came down for the first two shows at Phoenix, and a lot of these guys raced there, and we met quite a few of the guys there.
What about this car number 13, Jim?
Well, there isn't a whole lot to tell about it. It's a Larry Shaw race car, and we bought the car the latter part of last season, and it's made about 6-7 races, I suppose.
Handling pretty good? Or?
Oh, sometimes yeah, sometimes no. Yeah.
Sometimes no. Depending on whether the track's too wet or...
Yeah, well, of course, we don't feel like you can get a wet enough track, but then, it just totally depends on whether we make the right adjustments.
Carl Trimmer, he was winning our main event a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you ever heard of Carl.
Yeah, we ran second to Carl twice at Phoenix, so we definitely know who Carl Trimmer is.
He, on his last lap, he blew a tire, and that was a real heartbreak for him, I know that.
Oh, sure would be.
But that's part of racing.
Yeah, well, that's part of the things that happen, He's really a good racer.
Are you expecting to do well tonight?
Oh, we always expect to do well. Now, whether we do or not, that's, to be seen, I suppose.
Okay, well, good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you down here.
Appreciate
Raven
it.
I'm here in the pits with Rick Sipes in the Budweiser car, number 4U. Rick, you were holding a close second there a couple weeks ago. You just couldn't quite catch Carl. What happened? Is the car handling bad, or couldn't hold her on the inside?
No, the car was a little loose, but we just didn't think the track was going to get as dry as it was. We had plenty of horsepower. Everything was right. We just missed it on the suspension a little bit, and it came down to, I had a lap car, Ivan Russell, in between me and Carl there at the end, and we came off of a yellow for the green. And if you're going to get anybody, that's the best time to do it. And I knew I was loose on the top, but I figured Carl might run away from Ivan, and then there wouldn't be no chance of catching him unless I got Ivan right then. So I came off and tried to pass him on the outside, and it lit the tires up, and the guy from Phoenix got underneath me, and then it was just about history. Then Carl had the flat tire, and then I was sorry I tried that, because we could have probably won the main event last time. But we learned a little bit, but yeah, I'd do the same thing again.
You came close. Have you made any major adjustments on the suspension, or?
Yeah, we changed everything in the last 2 weeks. We've had it all apart, changed shocks, springs, locations of things, weights, everything.
How about on the hot lapping? Will you know where you're at by then, or will you have to just get out there and get into the heat race before you make any more adjustments?
Well, it's like last week. We ran a heat race that looked like it hadn't even been packed. The mud was still standing up real high on it, and you can't really tell anything about what it's going to do in the race in hot laps, because hot laps is normally real slippery, real wet, muddy. You get into the main event, we were totally different from what we ran the heat race on. We ran up from a wet track to a completely dry, slick track with a lot of dust on top of it. real slippery track. So you don't really know. We changed what we think's going to work for the main. We didn't really think about the heat race too much tonight. Hopefully it'll work, you know.
What about your sponsors here? Mentioned them, Budweiser and Performance Engine and Machine. How active are they with you? And, well, tell us a little bit about both of your sponsors.
Budweiser and Performance Engine and Machine keep me racing. If it wasn't for those two people, I wouldn't be here. I might be here, but I wouldn't be wearing a helmet or a suit tonight. Budweiser actively sponsors us. They have for the last 5 years on our sprint cars and the stock car previously. And they came into this deal. They like stock cars and they like racing in Tucson, Arizona. Jim Grimes is the main man. He's responsible for it, and he's got a lot in the racetrack. You know, he's big endeavor, and Dave Maness put on a heck of a racetrack, I think. You know, I mean, everybody complains about it being a little slippery, but we've got a place to race, and it's a nice facility. It's the best thing Tucson's ever had. So, yeah, Budweiser's behind us 100%. And Performance Engine and Machine, you know, it's his car, motors. You know, they build the best motors around. I ran them before in the stock car, and we won 3 state championships in 1 season with their motors, and only broke 1 time. So they build the best motors.
What advice would you give to a young lad, say perhaps in his 20s, if he was going to come out here and race at Raven Raceway? Would you tell him to get right into the sportsman class, NASCAR Chargers, or jump in with both feet or late model? What advice would you give to a young man who wants to get into racing?
Well, I've learned a lot. I've been around it for over 20-some years, but when I started, that was the only way I could start. I'd suggest that a guy gets the best sponsor he can get the most money he can get, and if he wants to race stock cars, midgets, or sprint cars, go buy the best car in that class and go learn to drive it. Because if you start out in what I would call a junk car, you're not going to learn a whole bunch. You're going to learn a lot of grief because it's going to fall apart. You're not going to be able to handle it as well as you would a first-class car. Everybody says, well, I want to crash this cheap car and then I'll buy a good car. Well, chances are they will crash a cheap car because that's exactly what they've got. Get a good car and start out right. You spend all you can afford and more, and race it as much as you can and pay attention.
Good advice. Good advice.
That's the best way to do it if you can afford it. And if you can't afford it and you want to race, get a NASCAR Charger and come out and race.
Good. Rick Sipes, good luck to you tonight, and I hope you do well.
Thank you. I hope
Thanks
we'll
a
win
lot for being out here. We
right.
really appreciate you.
Well, we're having fun. Thank you.
I'm here with Dick Johannick and car number 76. Dick, you've came a long way to race this evening. Where are you from?
Litchfield, Minnesota.
Litchfield, Minnesota.
Yeah, we came out for the Western World, and we're just kind of on vacation, took 2-3 weeks off, and just kind of goofing around. We usually go from the Western up to Denver, and he shortened it this year and put it out 2 more weeks. So we thought we'd stick around, come down here, and have some fun. Not out to set any records, just to have some fun.
Just to have some fun. How about this machine you're driving tonight? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I shouldn't. That car right there has won the Pennsboro 100 with Freddie Smith driving the thing.
Oh, is that
so
right?
I don't do the car justice. It's a custom chassis out of Columbus, Georgia. Willie Kraft built the car, and Willie Kraft drove it at Manzanita for me last weekend. He's tied up this weekend. So
how's it handling?
Well, we lost the front brakes, and the transmission had problems. We kept jumping out of high gear, so he's holding it in high gear with one hand and steering with the other. So we got a 4th out of the deal. We're happy with that.
What do you think of our racetrack out
I
here?
haven't been out there yet, but if it's a nice little 3/8 mile, that's what I built. I used to own Grove Creek Speedway in Grove City, Minnesota.
Oh, is that right?
That's where the Do It and the Dirt comes from.
How far is that from the cities?
That's about 70 miles straight west of Minneapolis.
Oh, is that near Staples or?
It would be straight out by Wilmer, Minnesota.
Oh, by Wilmer?
Yeah.
I was up in that area a couple years ago. Pretty country.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty country.
Yeah, pretty mosquitoes and pretty big mosquitoes.
Pretty big fish, too.
Yeah. No, it's a nice country up there. I was fortunate to find a gentleman to buy the track from me, and I've thanked God ever since.
Is that right? Dave, I don't know if Dave'd like to hear that. How about, you have a sponsor? Is this Precision Performance?
Polydome Calf Nurseries is my company, my plastic manufacturing company, and that sponsors the car. We use it for advertising, and so we write most of it off.
You write most of it off.
Yeah, it's totally legal.
Sure.
Well, I've got
Nobody's questioning.
my accountants. Well, some people say, "Oh, yeah, you know,"
No.
but my accountants, we use it for that. And this Precision Performance built a couple engines for me, and we stuck his name on the hood.
Well, sometimes, you know, when you sponsor your own, you can call the shots a little bit better.
Well,
that's for sure.
I get tired of chasing sponsors, and I really don't have to have any.
Well, we're glad to have you here tonight, Dick, and good luck to you. And we'll see you out on the racetrack.
Just out here to have fun, like I said. I hope the boys don't think I'm some big hero or something out here. I'm just...
Got a bunch of good guys on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, really do.
I hope we can have a ball.
Okay, good luck. I'm here with Dan McFedrin in the car number 22. Dan, how you feeling tonight?
Oh, pretty good, I guess.
Pretty good. I just overheard you a few minutes ago saying you were waiting on some parts. Are they going to get out here in time?
Hopefully, we made some phone calls, and, you know, the people in the trailer over there are real good about that, and they're supposed to get here, so if they do, I run. If they don't, I'll be back tomorrow night.
I see your steering wheel laying there. You're going to put that on tonight.
Oh, yeah, and you go down here, you'll see all the steering wheels laying here. They all come off like that.
Okay.
You can't get in these things without taking a steering wheel
Oh,
off.
is that right?
That's a fact. They all come off.
Oh, okay.
You can go down the line and see they're all come off.
Your sponsor is Ajo Cafe.
Right.
Are they good people?
All the best. The best.
I've eaten there a couple times.
Yeah.
They got good food over there.
They sure have. I used to own that for 10 years.
Oh, is that right?
And I just sold it a couple of months ago. And
Oh, is that right?
retired and decided to go back to racing.
There you go. That's right over there on Ajo Way, just east of Palo Verde, or just west of Palo Verde.
It's on Country Club in Palo Verde.
You going to do good out there tonight?
I'm going to try to stay out of the wall this
You're
week.
gonna try to stay out of the wall.
I broke a ball joint last week and hit the wall, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to try to do good. We all try to do good when we come out here.
That was you on the front chute I seen, wasn't it?
Broke a ball joint, right front ball joint broke, and she looped into the wall, yeah.
Oh, it broke before you hit the wall.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hit the wall when it broke.
Now, is that a good excuse, or is that what happened?
No, that's exactly what
Okay.
happened.
Okay,
I'm
Dan.
scared to death of that wall. I stay away from it.
I don't blame you.
You'll notice me on the bottom of the racetrack. I'm too old to hit them walls anymore.
Anybody else? Good luck to you tonight, Dan.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here with Chuck Boslin, car number 90. Chuck, I've noticed on your right front fender or left front fender and in the back it says, "Have you driven a Ford lately?"
Yeah.
Where'd you get this idea?
Well, we had to put it on there because my main man is Bill Elliott, and they have it on the back of his car. So he's doing pretty well this year and last year in NASCAR racing. And I do run an 87 Thunderbird, and it is a real Ford engine. So we just put that on the back end just to give the guys riding behind us a taste of a Ford.
Have you ran this car yet?
No, we brought it out the first night out. We had troubles with the starter in the car, and we really didn't get a chance to do anything with it. So tonight, hopefully, we'll do a little bit better with it, get it out there and get it into traffic a little bit.
Yeah, I've been over at your garage as you were building this thing.
Yeah.
Not from the beginning, but in the latter times before you painted it and everything. And I was looking for you last week, but I didn't see you out there. So
Yeah, we went out in the hot lap, but that was all we could get done out there. So we'll try it again tonight.
how does the track feel to you last week? How did it feel once you got it out there?
I really didn't get past hot lapping out there, so the track wasn't in condition good enough where I could really feel the car out. So it'll be a new ball game for us again tonight.
Okay. Good luck to you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here, with Ivan Russell in the car number 17, the Coors Light car. Ivan, Coors looks like they're a big part of your racing team this year.
Well, yes, they are. We just got involved with them, and of course, David's new facility here has kind of made it possible. When there wasn't much going on locally, it was pretty hard to get hooked up with these guys, but the deal we got going now is pretty super.
Yeah.
We're not too crazy about not having a yellow race car anymore, but I think we can put up with it.
What did you think of the track a couple of weeks ago?
The track was pretty nice. We had a lot of problems. We didn't expect the track to stay as heavy as it did so long, and subsequently we couldn't get going on it, and we hope tonight to have figured it out a little better.
The car running good, or?
Yeah, the motor's running real well, and when the chassis is not right, you're of course out of it, and that's where we were last time out, and we think we're in better shape this time.
How's the competition look to you out this year? Are they as rough as everybody's saying they are?
Well, yes, they are. There's, I said before this season started, there was about 7 people to beat, and I think that number is still pretty accurate. and maybe even one or two more.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't think you're going to see a dominator this year. I think the wins are going to be pretty well broken up.
Once these fellas get their cars handling a little bit better, I'm sure we're going to see some exciting racing.
Oh, I think we will. I think that as the season goes along, it's going to get better. Everybody's going to be more familiar with the facility, and people will have their machines running better, and it's going to be tough.
You like the pits out in this new safe area rather than in the middle of the infield?
Well, yeah, there's advantages both ways. The best thing David's got going here is that we're able to keep our tow trucks and trailers with the race car, which means we don't have to unload and load all that gear every time out. That's real nice. And what is a little rough is not being inside where you know, the guys can watch the race car a little bit better. But it's a good setup. I like the plant. I like what he's done.
Do you have any other sponsors besides Core Light?
Well, we do,
Coors
yes.
Light?
We're still, of course, involved with our owner, which is Arizona Spring Company, and Townsend Racing. And we've got a new sponsor this year in McLaughlin's Paint and Body. And we've still got Pima Welding Supplies. So we're pretty well heeled this year. It's the best we've been.
I'll tell you, this is a good-looking racing machine.
Well, thank you. This scheme is what Coors wants on their dirt track stock cars. When we got involved, they let us know that they'd send down a picture of what the car should look like, and this is their scheme. It's what they want.
Any advice to some of these youngsters who are wanting to get into racing out here?
I don't know. There's a whole lot we could say about that, but probably to simply pay attention, and when you do get involved, try to get involved at a level that you can afford to compete. We see a lot of people who try to get involved just a bit above their financial abilities, and then they're handicapped quite badly. So I think a person should enter at a level that he's got funding to do the best he can.
Very good advice,
Right.
Ivan. Good luck to you tonight.
Okay.
Nice talking with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. Who do we have here working in the Mexican concession stand?
Gwen.
Gwen?
These are my daughters, Carolyn and Barbara, and my daughter, Mary.
And what is your last name, Gwen?
Dupnik.
Oh. Mrs. Dupnik. Okay.
See how you are. See how you are.
Are you having fun here
Yes,
today?
yes. My son-in-law's running this concession, and we are here for him.
And you've got the whole family out
Yes.
here. Very good. Okay.
He knows his food is being taken care of and served properly that way.
You have good food here, by the way.
Yes.
We appreciate all the work that you've done here. Thank you. We're here at the beer stand with Jerry. Jerry, what happened to that pink hat I seen you had on a little earlier?
In the corner, everyone's making fun of me. Everybody's making fun of me, so I put it away.
Jerry's the head of the beer stand over here at our bottomless beer well. Jerry, are you enjoying yourself out here?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Well, we see more people will be here, but it'll be here.
They'll be here coming up pretty soon. Can we give that hat away as a prize tonight?
No, negative.
No way you're getting rid of that hat. Okay, nice talking with you, Jerry.
Located on the rear flap at the lower left-hand corner. Keep tabs on that number because we do have a bevy of great gifts. Also, we welcome your input. Everybody have a good time? Ready for some hot laps?
Well, we're in the hot lapping now. Track seems to be getting ironed down real nice. Guys are picking up speed. George gives them the green flag. We've got a few fellows that were out here last week or a couple weeks ago that never made it out on the track. They got out there in hot lap, had some problems with their steering and so forth, but they're raring and ready to go tonight.
Goes Kevin Clayton in car number 44 flashing by. That's a Firebird 355 for that Tucson driver. As he continues to get his machine shook into top performance shape here tonight. George Camp gives him the yellow. Says, okay guys, let's drag her down just a bit. Car number 4, Jack Cocott, Camaro 331. Powering that. That's the Borderland Special. Also sponsored by Big O, Pro Construction, and Copper State Towing.
That's Chuck Roslin out there. Car number 90. They're going to give him a shove here and see if we can get him back underway. Sure the Chevy guys appreciate that.
Do.
Well, Chuck is sure having his problems. He was out here a couple weeks ago and got in a couple of hot laps and just couldn't get her out on the track. Well, like I was saying before, Carl Truman, car number 74, that blue circle car, along with sponsored by Dickie Lynn. He's going to be one of the top contenders out here this year, and Rick.
Look out! Look out in that number 4 corner. That's Jim Clifton, the car number 13. He came all the way down from Colorado. Not to smack that number 4 corner, but to race tonight. Interesting story about Jim. He was on his way back to Colorado and was up in Flagstaff. And he said, well, let's turn around and go back to this new Raven Raceway we've heard all about. And here he is tonight. He's featured in our program, our Lucky Number program. And oh boy, Jim, you messed up some sheet metal there. Let's see if we can get you back out on the track for tonight's event. Speaking of the Lucky Number program, you still have time to get one. We'll be giving away some really nice gifts tonight, and you can pick those up for $1.50 as you come into the facility here. Bob, we'll make you a star yet. Got involved in auto racing. I asked him where he was from, and he said he's from Tucson. And I said, well, when did you recognize automobiles, from the start? He said, well, he was born about 10 minutes away from the hospital in the car. So ever since then, he's had this urge to be around automobiles.
Pretty quick, about 10 minutes. They're going to let, they're picking mud off right now. We got a good heavy racetrack. It looks like it's going to be probably the best one we've had out of all 3 nights we've gotten the race. For last week, we went from a disaster from power shortages and everything else to finishing the race on Sunday, and tonight was kind of an experimental deal. We're going to start running some Friday night shows. Reason for it, for a lot of you has been asking me tonight, why Friday night? Well, what's happening is the NASCAR series that these gentlemen are racing in is called the Sun Belt Race Series, and it involves this racetrack and 6 other racetracks all the way down to Florida. We have to run a total of 20 shows in a time period between starting tonight, and the last race will be April 17th to make these guys eligible for their Sun Belt Series championship. What they do there is in the point system, they accumulate their points here tonight for these next 20 races. If, hypothetically, let's say one of our Tucson boys ends up with 1,000 points and the guy in Florida that wins the championship there only has 980, well, the Tucson guy would be crowned the Sun Belt Series Winston Western Regional Champion, which carries a tune of $10,000 check for him. Anybody that finishes in the top 10 in this Sun Belt Series gets all expenses paid in Nashville, Tennessee, their crew, their room, board, everything. So I think it's a real great thing that we've given our drivers locally here, such as Carl Trimmer and Ivan and Bill Cheeseburg and all these guys, the opportunity to really perform with some quality sponsorships behind him in the Winston Racing Series. So tomorrow night I know we'll have a packed house. We did add some more grandstands on down here thanks to Fair Commission. We're going to be adding some more on. We dealt with a full house situation there 2 weeks ago. For those of you that was here, I must thank all of you for coming out. Keep supporting the facility. For those of you that was here last Saturday night, I owe you a special bit of thanks. We had a terrible condition out here. We lost power, and I mean, we lost all the power. There was not a light on in this facility. Everybody exited it very orderly. I had to call the show, but I did finish the show on Sunday, and we opened the gates for free to everybody, and we had a pretty good time, even though it was Easter Sunday. So to all of you, thank you. I welcome you again to Raven Raceway. This lady here sang our national anthem 2 weeks in a row, and she's been highly requested to continue doing this. Her name is Carolyn, and I don't think we've ever had anybody that's ever sang it any better than Carolyn has, and I think it's a real tribute to have her continually come out here every week. She also works in the concessions, so if you hear her singing, you know why. George! Hey, George, are you ready? We'll get over there and raise the flag. Please. That's the fastest he's moved in a long time. Come on, George, they're applauding you. Atta boy. What's the whoopie-doo? Okay, Carolyn. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please stand, we'll have Carolyn sing the national anthem. We'll get the racing started here real shortly.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rock filtered glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You want her to do it every week? Maybe we can talk her into it, huh? Sounds better than them records. George, did you tie it off over there? I think we got the flag stuck again. We're going to have to do something about that. Carlson, our hearts are with you. She has had a trying time with the Vicki Lynn thing. To all of you that supported her and supported us and the family, the Trimmer family, thank you very much. I think the racetrack plays a big role in what we've been able to accomplish in our system in this city. Cliff Martin. This could be big. Wave to everybody, George. All right, he fixed the flag. Fine job. We might let you flag from up there. Okay, we're going to get the first heat out here right now, and then afterwards, we got a live band. Please stick around. They're going to play for 2 hours. Copper Moon, they're a very good band. We plan on doing a little partying tonight and get ready for a full house tomorrow night. So enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you after a while.
Thank you, Dave Manus. And again, congratulations on a job well done these weeks and months past, getting it up and along this far. You'll be happy to know we're all set from up the top here tonight with our field. Late models tonight, late models and dwarf racers here at Raven Raceway tomorrow night. Gates open at 4, hot laps at 7. Racing begins hot and heavy at 8 o'clock. We're going to be jumping tomorrow night. And then Sunday, your debut Sunday, off-road racing and NASCAR Chargers. And Jack, you were in pit road when I was talking about that a little bit earlier on this evening.
Way back when, about 100 years ago, and also those off-road vehicles. That's going to be real interesting. George was telling me that they started a standstill over there just beyond that white flag stand right out there, and I don't know if we're going to have any water in Lake Mayonnaise. I tried to talk George into pumping some out there. That'd really make it interesting, but the weatherman says the weather's going to be good. We're going to open the gates at 11 o'clock, and race time's going to be at 2 o'clock. And I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about tomorrow night. I'm excited about Sunday. I'll tell you, I'm just plain.
You're just an excited guy, aren't you?
Just an excited guy.
I don't know about anybody else, but I have a feeling that this is a really fair to outrageously great crowd, considering that it's breaking tradition, not having a racing effort going on within arm's reach on a Friday night. And now it's here, and I think considering the fact that it's the first week, there was not a whole lot of publicity on it. but with what little there was, we seem to have amassed a rather decent racing crowd here at Raven Raceway on this inaugural Friday night.
That's right, Tom. What about Stomper Hill? It's not filling up too much over there tonight, but I've got a feeling if you come on out tomorrow night, you better get out here early, because that Stomper Hill is going to be one of the best seats in the house. And by the way, before the races begin, you still have a few moments to go back and get a program.
And hopefully yours will be the lucky program number when we get around to passing out some goodies, courtesy a number of our many fine sponsors of the racing effort here in 87. We'll be giving away a lot of goodies tonight. Last week it was water jugs and ice chests and Oleg Cassini garment carriers and caps and T-shirts. We even gave away 6 packs of beer for a nickel. Remember that?
That's right, I remember that.
Down at the Long Branch.
Oh, by the way, tonight we're giving away a couple extra special prizes. We're giving away 2 lasagna dinners from Vince's Italian Restaurant up on Speedway.
Yeah, and you get to go with Jack Jacobs and Robin.
And next to him is Dick Johannick in the car number 76, a Camaro 355. It looks like we're getting underway here. Car number 73, Mike Hancock from Eloy, and Herb Lang in the car number 87 from Tucson. And that's our first heat here tonight at Raven Raceway.
George Camp's got him under observation. He's shaking his head and going for the yellow. He's not happy with the spread there between the Budweiser car and car number 44, I think it is, Kevin Clayton. He thought they were just a little wide apart coming out of that 4th turn, so he shook his head, went for the yellow, and passed along the message to them. You know what's important in that we've only got the 3 heat races here tonight, Jack? You better finish in the top 4 or 5 on the outside, and definitely in the top 4 out of 2 out of these 3 heat races tonight. So we should see some good scrambling in these first 3 sets of heats. George Kemp has him under eye again and says, yes, let's go racing! Jack Ickes takes it right from the start, commands it through turn 1, and all of a sudden he's got himself a bunch of company. Sipes, for one, in the Budweiser car, is giving him a good press. Oh, look at that fishtail down there going on, Jack. Jack Kokot with that Camaro 331 right in the thick of it with those other 2 also. Top spot still commanded by Jack Ickes, with number 4 in second place, Jack Kokot, and Rick Sipes in that 4U Budweiser car, currently running 3rd. Nipping away, trying to get up there into second spot and put some heat on Ickes, but so far, it's only a thought. Here they come again. Ickes. And there's Sipes still about a half a car length behind Jack Kokot. But now we've got some action out of turn number 2, and look at that. Sipes all the way from 3rd, juts into the lead, and drops Ickes back to 3rd place. Jack Kokot still hanging on to number 2.
And look at Dick Johannick from Minnesota. He's trying to make his move up on the fellows, too. He's doing a fine job.
Car number 76 for Johannick. Well, Sipes just waited till he had the opportunity. He got it up there shy of turn 2, and now look at him just turn it loose. That Budweiser's for you, and you, and you. And we've lost one of the top 3 competitors, as headed for the pits.
Jack Kokot, that went in the pits, Tom, that Camaro.
Taking the Borderland Special in for a little observation in pit row. There goes your leader, Rick Sipes, a commanding leader at this point. Jack Ickes, that J7 car, still giving pursuit. Then the rest of the parade.
Well, it looks like we got a battle for second here for our white flag coming up. This fella from Minnesota gets him on the inside. Look out.
Nice piece of driving down there. Jack Ickes in the J7 car. And Johannick, Dick Johannick with a Camaro 355. But here comes the checkered, and it's for you, Rick Sipes. Good finish for our surprise and late edition driver there. Rick Sipes in the 4U Budweiser car, number 1. Dick Johannick with the Camaro 355, car number 76 in second place. And Jack Ickes, who commanded that race, that heat lap at one time, winds up in third place, Jack.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, I'm not putting a damper on Rick.
Gentleman by the name of Chuck Barth. Chuck, do you hear the message? If so, please give the fans around you a wave and say hi. Chuck, formerly of Channel 13, now of Blue Horse Productions here in our town. Man who knows anything and everything there is to know about videos. Nice to have you out here this evening, Chuck. You and your friends, I trust, will have a good and memorable Friday night.
Well, Tom, a couple of cars have scratched this race, so we're only going to be going with 6.
Who are we scratching?
Let's see. Let me get the information from the steward here.
55 is scratched. Bill Brandon. The Marketing Concepts, Brandon Communication Systems, and Brandon Brothers Texaco car, and Bill Brandon will not be with us in this heat race. And Jim Clifton, who does a lot of his running in Colorado, pushing a Camaro, number 13, also a scratch here in the second heat race.
That's the fella that smacked that wall in a number 4 corner, Tom. I wasn't sure if he'd be back out, but
Clifton, right?
Looks like he's not going to make it.
So these will be your 6. Dan Smith, Paul Banghart, Carl Trimmer, Chuck Gibson, Chuck Rosland, and Jack Moore. Oh, look at how good they're behaving back there. They're trying to impress our starter, George Camp.
They're sneaking up on him.
And he's a very impressionable sort. Did you see him flash the high side? Here we go, racing at Raven again. I think I detected 1 or 2 missed gears there. And right in front of the grandstand, wouldn't you know it? Oops. Well, we got a smoker in the first lap of action, and you've got your leader right there. Car number 29, Dan Smith out of Phoenix. Anco Mobile Brake, DeYoung Motorsports, and Azteca Videos, the sponsor of your lead car, as we go to yellow for the first time on a Friday night. The message is delivered to the leader, car number 74, Carl Trimmer, currently running in second place.
Well, that leader, Dan Smith, he's the fella that won the feature out here a couple weeks ago, so he's another fella that you might want to be watching out for.
Oh, he was here winning money when I was up in the White Mountains dancing with my attorney. Huh?
Yeah, well, Carl Trimmer had the lead most of that race, but look at Carl. He's in second place again. That blue circle car, car number 74, and the spirit of Vicky Lynn.
Get the feeling Carl likes to sit in second place. He probably likens that to hiding in the bushes.
Even with that flat tire, he came in 4th in the main event.
George Camp says, okay, you guys are doing a swell job parading. Prove it to me one more lap. He just doesn't trust this bunch.
Nope.
And I can't say as I blame him. Dan Smith, your leader. Carl Trimmer. Then it's car number 71, Paul Banghart, followed by number 23. That would be Jack Moore. 2 scratches and a smoker in the early on here in the second heat race this evening.
I'll tell you, they're coming around nice and easy, Tom.
Almost too easy.
They must know George pretty good.
I'd be scared to death. Chuck Gibson there in car number 94 bringing up the rear. Oh, look at him. Look at him psych away on the camp we call George.
Yeah, but they're sneaky, too.
George is eyeballing him real good. He's got the green flag in that right hand, and here we go again. Smith gives it a good kick right off the grandstand way. Carl Trimmer still pursuing in second place in that Blue Circle 74 car. And look at him put the heat on, heading up there just shy of turn number 3. 1, 2, and 3 with Paul Banghart currently in the 3rd position. Paul out of Tucson, your most improved late models driver in 1985. Here they come again. Out of 4. Little has changed, except I would guess Trimmer has maybe cut the margin. It's just a little bit closer with an open gap between Trimmer and that Camaro 404 being pushed around by Paul Banghart. Here they come out of 4 again. Whoa. Look at Trimmer put the move on the inside, then drift. He's going to go outside up there on turn 1, but he's not going to be able to close the gap on Dan Smith, a Venetian driver who has come south on a Friday night. Phoenix car up front, Tucson car, Carl Trimmer in pursuit.
I'll tell you, Tom, Dan's car is handling a lot better than it did 2 weeks ago. He must have done something to that chassis.
Looks real tight. I'll bet he's been doing that thing they call homework.
Yes.
The Woody Hayes syndrome.
And he doesn't look like he wants to let Carl by, that's for sure.
Dan Smith commands it. Car number 29, Carl Trimmer, 74. It's a 2-car race at this point. White flag lap coming up, too. Well, here's the action. Out of 3, into 4. Trimmer is giving it all he's got, but the white flag goes to Dan Smith. We've got 1 to go. Can Carl Trimmer trim the margin of difference? He's got it close right now, Jack.
Oh, my goodness, what a finish.
Here we go. Can Carl cut him on the inside?
No, he didn't do it,
Not
Tom.
quite.
Oh.
1 car length. The difference between Dan Smith out of Phoenix, the Anco Mobile Brake, the Young Motorsports and Azteca Videos sponsored car. It's a Camaro. Carl Trimmer out of Tucson, car 74, taking 2nd place.
Good job, fellas. Good job. You know, Tom, I had the feeling Carl was just laying back there for the right moment.
I think that was a ploy of his that just didn't quite get pulled off. He sure gave it a good charge on that last lap. It looked like coming out of turn 4, he might be able to cut the mustard and take his competitor, Dan Smith, on the inside, but he just couldn't quite get the job done.
Well, I think he jumped in front of him just a fender's length right there coming out of 4, and then looked like Dan had just a little bit more power and just pulled right away as he came across the checker flag. Good racing. Good, exciting racing here at Raven Raceway.
Well, Jack, I wonder if the excitement will still be here for our 3rd heat race. George is going to give him at least 1 more check. Your entrants, number 17, Ivan Russell. Number 75, George Banghart. Car number 22, Dan McFedrin. Gene Scherer is in that 00 car. Wayne Noyes out of Phoenix in car 50. Tucsonan Roy Gibson, Rapid Roy in car 61. Jim Throckmorton Jr., car 52 out of Tucson. Lou Mellendrone of Tucson with that Buick number 48, and here we go again. Oh, look at that charge up the middle. Nice little push right off the top.
That's Ivan Russell in that car number 17. He's took an early lead on the pole position.
So Russell's got him a big margin right now. McFedrin in 2nd place in that car number 22, but it's a battle.
Uh-oh, he's not in second anymore.
Spot 52 seems to have inched up and taken him over. Jim Throckmorton Jr. giving the best pursuit currently of Ivan Russell in car number 17. Then Throckmorton in car number 52, the way we had him at the last pass.
Got a good battle going on for second and third and fourth place, Tom, car number 22.
And who's the other car? 50, I think. Wayne Noyes out of Phoenix.
Yep.
I think that's the guy I
That's
saw
who it
make
is.
that first lap charge right up through the middle. Gutsy kind of guy. Challenge Engines, the sponsor on that Phoenix car. Lap 5. Etched into the history books. Russell, your leader.
Oh, look out here.
Throckmorton in second place. And there's Wayne Noyes in third place now out of Phoenix.
He almost lost it on this inside turn here, Tom.
Tucson, and Phoenix in that order here in the third heat race on a Friday night at Raven Raceway. There goes Ivan. White flag should be coming up. George Camp has got it in hand, and he'll be waving it at Ivan Russell, who's now coming out of 3 into 4 and down the home stretch to pick up the white flag, giving us 1 to go. And Jim Throckmorton Jr., a pair of Tucsonans running 1-2 right now in this race. There you have them down the backstretch. Throckmorton playing catch-up. Won't be able to get it done, particularly with that company that he's run into down there. He's going to try it on the inside, but he can't get the job done. Ivan Russell takes heat lap race number 3. Jim Throckmorton Jr. in second place in that car number 52.
Pete Hernandez just smacked the wall on that last lap. The Pete Hernandez car driven by Ronnie Whitwell, the car number 34. I don't think he done too much damage, but he just bumped off of that Alan Sines wall out there in the number 4 corner.
Well, 3 pretty good runs for heat races to give us aim on the semis. A semi and a main, we hope, here this evening. And tomorrow night, needless to say, it'll be a packed house from the standpoint of drivers, mechanics, and we hope spectators too. If you've got nothing planned, no poker party or pinochle games to go off to tomorrow night, we invite you to head her right back out here. I heard him talking this afternoon about 60 degrees overnight low tonight, another near 90 degree and plenty of sunshine day tomorrow. And they're even thinking about the same kind of stuff for Sunday.
There with beef and bean burritos and nachos and cheese crisps and golden French fries, onion rings, and right behind there, the beer well where they're serving Coors and Coors Light, the silver bullet, Budweiser, and
Nothing
Bud
but the
Light.
best.
Yes, nothing but the best.
Nothing
Miller and light beer from Miller.
There's a guy just sitting down in front of the press box. Got back up here with his plate of food, and as he's walking in to get seated, some guy sticks his hand out to say something to somebody, and boom, almost lost the plate of food.
Almost lost those golden onion rings.
What a good-looking evening. Kick back and enjoy. Let's take a break and enjoy one another, get to know one another a little bit better through intermission, and we'll be back to talk about semi and main events.
And we'll give away some of those nice prizes on your program. We'll give you a few minutes to get over and get yourself a program, just $1.50, right behind the main straightaway here.
Main event contestants entering the trap and getting lined up now. We'll let you know from the front row all the way back through row 11. Who's on the inside, who's on the outside.
You know, Tom, I was really impressed by that Dick Johannick, or Johannick, whatever way you pronounce it. believe you pronounce it Johannick. That car number 76, he came down from Minnesota, and he said he was just out here to have some fun tonight, but he looked like he was trying to have more than just some fun. He looked like he was going to try to win that race.
I think it's a fairly safe bet that he got what he set out to accomplish, huh?
Yeah, that's right. These fellas get out there, you know, once that green flag comes out, there's no love connection out on that racetrack, that's for sure.
Well, you folks in the stands, see your hometown favorite, 74, the Blue Circle racer up there, Carl Trimmer. Sitting behind him is, as Jack just mentioned, that little Camaro 355, car number 76, Dick Johannick, or Johannick. J7 here, Jack Ickes, who tore it up pretty good in his heat race tonight. Number 22, Dan McFedrin, Camaro 355 in that car. It is sponsored. Car number 22 is by the Ajo Cafe. Somebody could be clever and write a song.
Oh, we just got word, Tom, that Dwayne Lang, the car number 88, is scratched, so he won't be out in the main event tonight.
Our first scratch this evening. That ought to even them up then.
And Kevin Clayton in that car number 44 has a brand new sponsor, Alpha Plumbing, where they do all your plumbing repair. That's Alpha Plumbing. Kevin Clayton in the car number 44.
Car number 61 down here, just shy of George Camp's starter's box. Clean looking car. That's Rapid Roy Gibson of Tucson, the Royal Automotive, Big A, Quaker State, and Rogers Automobile Finishers. It's an IROC Z406 powering that car around Raven tonight. 29 is just now tooling into the scene here. '29, who just tooled by for the grandstand, that Phoenix car, who ran so well in his heat race. Dan Smith at the wheel of that Camaro-powered car. Rick Sipes is in order now and on the pole up there in the 4U. Catchy little number since this Budweiser's for you. Jim Throckmorton Jr.'s car number 52 down there. Ivan Russell's number 17. And we'll get them sorted out, get them introduced to you, prim, proper, and official. Then we'll be off and flying. Paul Banghart in car number 71 is getting strapped in at this very moment, so his place should be right behind car number 76 here and sitting on the outside of car number J7, Jack. So we look to have the first 6 in definite order at this point.
You know, it was real interesting when I was in the pits today. I seen the steering wheels laying to the side. They weren't even hooked up, and one of the drivers told me that can't get in the vehicle until you take that steering wheel off, so they just snap it right in there just before race time. I thought he had steering problems.
Another of the many safety features that the years of practice and chipping away at this sport, some say it's an art, automobile racing. That's one of the resultant factors, the pop-off steering wheels. Of course, we saw that come to haunt a player a couple of weeks ago here. One of our drivers got a little miffed at how one of the tow truck services were handling things out there. So what did he do? He picked up the pop-off steering wheel and heaved it through the cab of the tow truck. his way of saying thank you.
So that's how that happened. He just didn't yank that off of there. It pops off.
These guys are paying $100 fines this year when they're caught in an infraction of, what do you want to call it? Temperamental inturpitude?
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. They throw the helmet and they're caught doing it. It's $100 out of their pocket. Paul Banghart, car number 71, lining her in there right where he's supposed to be.
Looks like we're going to have a couple of the cars shove start tonight. Fellas having some starter problems. I've talked to a couple guys in the pits today that they had starter problems a couple weeks ago.
Wayne Noyes out of Phoenix in that car number 50 that is sitting out of the grid right now in front of the grandstands, off to the rear left quarter panel of the J7 car of Jack Hickey's, another Phoenician driver.
You know, it's going to be interesting tomorrow night if we can get a picture of one of those dwarf cars next to one of these late models. We probably would hide it out on the track.
That would be nice to see them side by side. You kind of lose the perspective. Last week, the dwarf racers were set up on exhibition back in the victory lane and the grandstand area, the bandstand area, rather.
Now, do you have to belong to a health club or something to fit in those cars? I would imagine
you don't come in here too overweight and get involved in the dwarf racing scene.
Those are really cute. But they fly. They really fly.
What are those dwarf racers using for power plants? Somebody told me
motorcycle. Yes. Yeah,
really?
That's what I heard.
Well, like a 1200 cc?
Beats me.
They don't have a whole lot of equipment inside. You're used to looking at something from Ford Motor Company or General Motors. There's no comparison. It's just the bare necessities inside the cockpits of the little dwarf racers. My understanding is that we have 26 of them in a dwarf racer field for you tomorrow night that we will be mixing in with these late modelers. So it'll be late models and dwarfs on Saturday night here.
I think George is ready to announce him back there, Tom. Are you ready, George? Nope, not yet. Not quite yet.
God, I hope not, because I don't have them laid out in order, and I can't see that far.
Well, our trophy girl tonight is Sherry Ramsey Bishop. SRB is her initials. And you can see her over at the winning circle for the winner of this main event, right next to the bandstand. And we're going to play some more music after the racing event tonight from that
Copper Moon.
Copper Moon, that's the name of those.
Dave Maness promised us a couple of hours worth of music out of that musical group, so remember that that's coming up immediately after tonight's racing scene.
Well, I'm going to check with them, see if they learned any Bob Seger. They promised me last time they were here that they were going to brush up on their Seger.
George Camp, you look to be ready, and he waves the checkered flag. He is, in fact, ready. So let's get you introduced to the starting field, beginning at the back of the pack. Car number 13 from Colorado, Jim Clifton. We welcome you, Jim, to tonight's raving festivities. Next car, Gene Scherer, the 00 car. In case you missed it earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I think you ought to give him a real warm reception. It's his first racing effort here in '87. The first one for Gene Scherer. Good luck tonight. Car number 87, Herb Lang from Tucson. Good luck, Herb. Car number 48, Lou Maladrone. That Buick car, sponsored by Frontier Towing, also by Parts World and ACI. Good luck to you tonight, Lou. Jack Cocott. That Camaro 331, car number 4, the Borderland Special, also sponsored by Big O, Pro Construction, and Copper State Towing. Car number 34 is the Pete Hernandez car out of Bowie, being driven tonight by Ronnie Whitwell. Car number 44, the Firebird 355, driven by Tucsonan Kevin Clayton. Good luck, Kevin. Car number 75, George Banghart, another Tucsonan. Good luck to you, George. Car number 73 from Eloy, Mike Hancock. Car number 61, the IROC Z406, Rapid Roy Gibson at the wheel. He's sponsored by Royal Automotive, Big A, Quaker State, and Rogers Automobile Finishers. Car number 22, the Camaro of Dan McFedrin of Tucson, sponsored by the Ajo Cafe. Car number 23T, driven by Jack Moore of Tucson. Car number 50 out of Phoenix, the Challenge Engines Performance Chevrolet and Alexander Marine electric car, driven by Wayne Noyes. That J7 Camaro 406 out of Phoenix, Jack Ickes. Car number 71, the Camaro 404 of Paul Banghart of Tucson, sponsored by George's Automatic Transmission, Cactus Boot and Shoe, and Dick Pinnell's All Exhaust. Car number 76, the Camaro 355 of Dick Johannick. Car number 52, Tucsonan Jim Throckmorton Jr. Car number 74, that's the Blue Circle West Special of Tucson, Tucsonan Carl Trimmer. Car number 17, a Tucson car sponsored by Arizona Spring with Ivan Russell at the wheel. Front row and outside, that Camaro number 29 out of Phoenix, sponsored by Anco Mobile Brake, the Young Motorsports and Azteca Videos, Dan Smith, the real Charger, as we saw earlier at the wheel. And on the pole tonight, for you, from Tucson, the Budweiser car with Rick Sipes at the wheel. And there you have it, your starting field for your inaugural Friday night late model main event at Raven Raceway. The Ivan Russell car, sponsored by Coors, in addition to the folks we mentioned from Arizona Spring.
Tom, this is going to be one exciting race. You see the front four cars there, car number 29, 4U1774, and that fella from Minnesota, 76. I'll tell you, this is going to be one great race.
And I think it could boil down to an arch rival situation between Phoenician drivers and Tucsonan drivers. We've got a pretty good mix of them in the field. There's a push start. On number 44, Kevin Clayton getting a little help. And we seem to have them all fired. All of them cooking. Now watch George Camp spend a few extra moments down there on the track. He loves this. He loves to shake them down with his heels in the dirt. Get up real nice, close, and personable with these drivers. Then he'll climb up on the starter's stand, and he becomes a big bad bear once he's up there.
Along with baby bear Bob McKinley. Just kidding, Bob.
"30-lap main, all set to unfold for you. We're probably another 2-3 laps away from giving them an official start. Let's see how they parade themselves into a procession here that is acceptable to the starter, George Camp. They look good through 1, 2. Then they become a little disheveled. We'll see how tightly he wants them before he gives them the green light and the green flag and says, let's go racing. You folks in the stands, while they're away from us here for a moment or two, why don't you get prepared to get off the rear end and on your feet, and we'll give them a big cheering, raving sensation here. Probably another lap. They get one more lap, says George Camp. Then come to your feet after they get past us here, and let's cheer them on and kick off our Friday night racing sessions here in usually sunny southern Arizona. I say usually because we had anything but last weekend when we had transformers blowing up, rain and wind, even a little chill blowing in. Okay, let's see if in fact they get the go. As they come out of turn 2, head to turn 3, let's climb to our feet, folks, and get ready to cheer them on. They can hear you, they can feel you, they can sense you. You will help get them ignited. And George says, let's go racing! Rick Sipes from the pole. Then we got a bunch. 3 of them right now battling for that number 2 spot. Ivan Russell is certainly hanging in there among them and trying to lay chase to the bottom. Right now is in control, followed by Ivan Russell. And we've got yellow.
00 spun out in the number 4 corner.
In this 30-lap late models main on a Friday night at Raven Raceway. Not a large field of cars, but they've certainly made up for the numbers in putting on some exciting races through the heat races. This one, I've got a feeling, is going to get real wild and woolly before it's all said and done, Jack.
It looks like that. That was Gene Scherer in the car number 00. Lost it over there in the number 4 corner, but he's back out there. And we're going to have a restart here in just a minute.
Sipes, Russell, and Trevor. 3 Tucson cars, running 1, 2, 3 here in the early on.
Well, Dick Johannick, that car number 76 is out of the race. He's pulled into the pits in that Camaro 355, so Dick is gone for the night, it looks like.
If not for the night, then certainly for this race, and in this case, That's a pretty big miss.
Oh,
to
my-
not be here for a part of the main.
My goodness, Tom, car number 29 just pulled in the pits, Dan Smith.
Oh, I hope not, because he was certainly running so hot earlier on. There they go, parading by. Throckmorton will start number 4 behind Trimmer, Russell, and Sipes when we re-go it.
Well, let's see if Dan Smith can get back out here before George hits that green flag.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. After running the kind of heat race he presented us with, I would like to see him in the main field.
And we've got that victory circle coming up right here after the main event, so join the winner at the victory circle right by the bandstand.
And your winner, followed by Copper Moon for a couple of hours. So plenty of excitement still to come tonight. George Camp leaning over the starter's gate railing, giving them some last-minute instructions here. Let's get ready to cheer them on in the restart. Get them all hot and lathered up and inspired, and let them give us 28-29 fascinating, rapid laps here. George Camp says, gentlemen, give me one more test pattern. One more test pattern here. I want to check out the hues, and the colors, and the brilliance, the brightness. Got it up there in those first 3, doesn't he?
Yeah, he just signaled up here, Tom. He's going to give him 2 more. Maybe they're trying to get Dan Smith back out here in the car number 29. I don't know, but he's got his reasons for it. Yep, that's right. We just got the word from the pits. He's holding her up for Dan Smith in that car number 29. It looks like he's on his way back out here now.
I think he's behind the Budweiser sign now,
Yep.
somebody just said. So he should be, and there he is, popping out.
Oh, 76 is back out here, too. Dick Johannick in that Camaro.
I like that name. So our scratch is no longer a scratch. I think they're signaling him to head to the back of the pack. And they're real serious about those kind of instructions this year too, Jack. If you don't do as you're told.
Bob, are you going to make 29 go to the back, too? Yep, I think they are. One more lap.
Well, some of them got the message, and some of them didn't. And you can tell the ones who didn't. Car number 00 still having either some handling problems or whatever. That's the inaugural race, first race ever for Gene Scherer with us tonight in the 00 car.
Dan Smith in that car number 29, he went to the back, but George is trying to signal to Dick Johannick in the car number 76 to bring her on back. Oh, George's out on the track again.
George can always get it straightened out by going down and talking at him window level.
He pointed to his rear, pointed to the car and pointed to his rear, telling Dick to get back in the back.
I got a boss at work down there at KRQ who does that too. He always picks up the flag, points to his rear, and I never know what the hell it means.
As long as he doesn't point to the door, you're in good shape.
Yep.
Well, let's see if George is going to do it. Yep.
Let's go racing! Sight! Russell. 1, 2, 3. Russell's got company, but he posts it up, pulls her out of turn number 2. We've got Trimmer going past Sipes into turn 3. And Trimmer bringing the lead down the home stretch. Leading Ronnie Sipes. Short turf's distance up on Ivan Russell in car number 17. So your 3 mainstays up top. Carl followed by Rick Sipes.
Yellow's out. Who's got a car spin on? I think it's number, well, let's see.
One back there in short turn 3. Can't get a number on him. Number 50. trouble back there.
That's Wayne
the Wayne Noyes Phoenix car, who's getting a little assist from the tow folk now.
Tom, I was watching him. He was having trouble on that last lap just before he spun out, handling that car coming out of number 4 corner. So he looks like he has some handling problems with that vehicle tonight.
And if that's the case, I would make a mental note.
From Eloy, Mike Hancock, and he may be out for the rest of the night.
George wants to see a little bit more, so he'll bring him around at least one more time. I can just sense George Camp is thinking about climbing down out of that starter's box, which he's now doing. He's going to get right down in the dirt and get it straightened out to suit his fancy. When that's done, then he says we'll go racing. Still under the yellow and a little tight right here where the best seats in the house are. Looked like the start of some demolition stuff there for a second, didn't it, guys? Carl Trimmer, blue circle, 74, up front. Rick Sipes, the Bud car, number 2, Ivan Russell, 3rd. 4th place right now belongs to Paul Banghart in car number 71. 5th place is currently held down by number 52, Jim Throckmorton Jr., and we're back to racing. Lap 3 of 30 coming up, folks, with Carl Trimmer bringing it out of 3 through 4 and home. There he goes, followed by Sipes, Russell, Banghart, and Throckmorton Jr. Your leaders. And then the rest of the parade. Lou Malandrone in that car number 48 bringing up the rear as Trimmer flashes by in the lead, followed by Sipes and Russell and Banghart. Now making a good charge on Russell for 3rd place. Banghart takes 3rd place, moves in behind the Sipes Budweiser car, and they better be careful because number 50 has spun out back there in turn number 3. Number 50, Wayne Noyes, and Jack, I think as you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, maybe some severe handling problems with that car.
Yeah, that's true, Tom. I wasn't watching that time. I didn't see him spin out. I was looking over number 1 and 2. I don't know if it was a handling problem or he got bunched up or what, but it sure looks like he's got some handling problems out there tonight.
And we've got 4 laps into the history book here on your first Friday night of racing at Raven Raceway. 4 laps down. At this rate, we'll get 30 of them done by about 11. Oh, my.
Well, I told you to expect some exciting racing here tonight, and we're not done yet. We've got quite a few laps to go in this main event.
All 5 of your first 5 are from Tucson. Carl Trimmer, Rick Sipes, Ivan Russell, Paul Banghart, and Jim Throckmorton Jr.
George says one more time, fellas, one more time.
Oh, we got some...
We're not even racing yet.
Oh, my God, it looks like the downtown parking garage.
Sort of reminds you of 22nd and Alvernon about 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon.
J7, the Phoenix Camaro of Jack Ickes, has dodged off the track and headed into pit row. We'll keep an eye and an ear on him and let you know. Let's go racing one more time. Trevor, Sipes, Russell, Banghart, Throckmorton, your top 5. Lap number 5 of 30, and here comes Carl out of 3 through 4 and shooting it past the home front folks. Sipes, Russell, Banghart, Throckmorton still running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the rest of the spread. Trimmer's got a sizable little lead now on Rick Sipes as they head into turn 3. Trimmer out of 4 down the homeway. Here comes Sykes, and we're back to yellow. Disarray out there in between turns 3 and 4.
That's car number 52, Tom, that spun out there in the number 4 corner.
Throckmorton.
Junior.
Jim.
Yes.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
Well, we've had our bumps and grinds here in the early on. And just think, tomorrow night we could wind up having 3, 4 main events for late models.
That's true. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more late models out here tomorrow night. Some of the fellas having to work nights on a Friday.
There he goes. Back in business. Now Camp's got his job cut out for him, and that is get him sized up, and he's got him. Trimmer, Sipes, Russell, Banghart, Jack Moore now up there breathing some of that front-running air, perhaps. Double Zero running his first race, and you're here to witness it tonight. We thank you for turning out in support of Friday racing. Let's do it once more. Carl Trimmer, followed by Sykes and then Russell. Throckmorton back in the fray after his little miscue down there between turns 3 and 4. Trimmer seems to be having it pretty much all his way. We'll see if Sykes in the Budweiser car can give him a decent chase, or Ivan Russell, or there comes Jack Moore in that orange number 23T car, and he's trying to stave off some competition on the outside, hanging on to number 4. Here comes Trimmer, followed by Sykes, Russell, and then Jack Moore in 23T, and he's being chased currently by car number 71, Paul Banghart.
Yellow flag is out again. Car number 75, it looks like. Banghart just spun out there in the number 3 corner, approaching the number 3 corner.
Tucson and George Banghart at the wheel of that machine.
And we're back to yellow once again.
Mellow yellow.
And here comes the hooks, or the tow trucks.
Seven laps down in your 30-lap late model main event on this inaugural Friday night. Have a feeling if we can get these guys wound up, Jack, and keep them wound up without having to dip back into the yellow for a little while, things may heat up between those front 3 right now. And I think there's about at least 3 or 4 more back there that would include the likes of 23T, Jack Moore. I think he's certainly got contending on his mind, and he's sitting in a good position to do it. He can do it like a sly fox from where he is sitting, as a matter of fact.
I've been watching that Budweiser 4U car, and he's sure handling a lot better tonight than he did a couple weeks ago. He's holding on the inside right behind Carl.
Carl looks solid. Sipes looks solid.
Yep.
Russell is solid. Jack Moore looks to be in pretty good shape, too.
And Ivan Russell's looking real good out there tonight also.
No lapped cars so far in this 30-lap main. FYI. They look pretty decent from our vantage point, but we're not the starter. George Camp is, and they look good to him too, and we're racing again. Off and running. Your top 6 cars right now: Trimmer, Sipes, Russell, Moore, Throckmorton, and Banghart. Paul Banghart in that number 6 position as we resume racing. Looks like Dan McFedrin is moving up there too, so you can make that 7 Tucson cars dominating so far in the early on here in this 30-lap main feature event for the late models.
Oh, look out!
Back to yellow.
Ho!
Another parking garage out there in turn 2 tonight. Jack's got the glasses on him.
That's car number 52. Was just smacked out there.
52, Throckmorton.
And car number 61 didn't see him after he spun out and just got him in there.
So Throckmorton goes through another spin out. And this time, Rapid Roy Gibson tags him, huh?
He tagged him a good one over there.
Pair of Tucson drivers meeting a little bit more up close and personal than what they would have liked out there in turn 2. So the fish hooks are in. They'll get them hitched up and hauled out of here. We should be about 8 laps into the book now.
Well, there goes the ambulance, so he's going to go out there and check him out. We'll give you a report just as soon as we find out if he's okay. He got smacked pretty good, Tom. That's a real dangerous place to be on the track. Car comes around and does not see those yellow lights out there once they're put on, and just couldn't go anywhere.
I know it hardly compares, but I was in a borrowed machine out there in a quote-unquote celebrity race several years back, and I guess I got a little close to the infield heading into turn 2, and suddenly the left side of the car slowed. I found myself going backwards back there, and needless to say, with the expertise of all of us in the celebrity race, anything could have and did happen. I came back that night. I forget the name of the guy who owned the car, but it was one of the Charger class, what we would call a Charger today, I presume.
Yes.
And the guy was kind enough to lend it to me to go out to do a celebrity race in, and when I came back, the front end was pushed back and the back end was pushed forward because I'd also gotten rear-ended. It looked like Snoopy's doghouse. I've never seen such a sad look on the face of a car owner. I didn't know what to say.
I bet you felt real bad. No, I'm serious. I know you go out there and the guy loans you the car and you bring it back to him half demolished. I can imagine.
I wanted to bring it back in one piece, but I also wanted to have a whole lot of fun.
Yes.
And you can guess which one I accomplished and which one I devastatingly faltered on. Well, the last remaining obstacle is on the hook.
Looks like we might have a little water on the track there. I see the fellows, the fire crew out there throwing some dry dirt down in that section. Probably busted up his radiator real good when he got smacked in that right front. And I believe everybody's okay. We'll get a report up here to you in just a few minutes.
Hopefully not enough body damage, but what they can pull an all-nighter on it and have her back in the starting grid here for our many heat races and probably a whole host of semis and mains tomorrow night. And not just for these guys, the late models, NASCAR Winston late models, but we'll also be going with dwarf racers here tomorrow night. 26 of them, as I understand it, will be in the field tomorrow night. Dwarf racing for the first time at Raven Raceway.
Well, we've got 16 cars left of the field, Tom.
And there's what's left of Throckmorton's ride. He's definitely got some sheet metal work due tonight. Probably some steerage is going to have to be at least scanned and repaired, if not patched or replaced. So tough news for car number 52, Jim Throckmorton Jr. tonight.
Well, I'm curious to see if he'll be back out here tomorrow night.
And one of our front runners, too, at the time, he was running in about 5th place at the time of the miscue. So that's going to be a costly situation for Mr. Throckmorton Jr. George Camp now, the starter, once again, busy trying to get him lined up, sorted out, put into a proper perspective so we can get back to it. 8 laps into it. 8 laps burned. 22 to go.
Tom, I'm sure that's what happened. His radiator must have spilled over. When you get hit in the fender, like he got hit, what usually happens is the fan goes right into the radiator, and that's what the fire crew was doing out there. They were throwing some more dirt on that side of the track, and that's another reason George is bringing him around. Let him iron it down just a little bit.
No, we won't get a go here. George is not satisfied with it as yet. Well, that was a nice and lucky little power slide down there to get out of the way of car number 50, Wayne Noyes' car, and another one by number 46. We're under green again. Let's do it. Trimmer, Sipes, Russell, Moore. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 down, 22 to go. Lap 9. Carl Trimmer in the lead. Little bit of a distance, and then a three-way race between Sipes, Russell, and Jack Moore for number 2. That's how they're running right now. Carl Trimmer seems to be having it all his way in 74, flashing by you now. There goes Sipes, Russell, and Moore still in that order, but my goodness, look at how tightly they are bunched between turns 1 and 2. Moore getting a little bit squirrely down there. And now he's got company too, so it becomes, instead of a 3-car race for number 2, a 4-car hunt for the number 2 position. Number 71, Paul Banghart in there, making it 5 Tucson cars out of your top 5. The top one of which is car number 74 right here. Carl Trimmer in the lead. Here's your battle for second, still being controlled closely by Sipes, Ivan Russell, Jack Moore, and Paul Banghart, all giving honest pursuit too, but none of them even close to Carl Trimmer, as Trimmer burns it out of turn 4 while the others are cleaning themselves out of turn 3, and they're in a group. Sipes is beginning to break away from that pack just a little bit, but he is not closing on Carl Trimmer.
He's got about a 4-second lead on the second place cars as they come on by the flag stand.
Lap 14. Traveling by left to right. Carl Trimmer is still your leader. I would think we are now doing some lapping out here as the yellow comes forth again. 14 laps down, we're back to yellow. We got a nut or a squirrel loose between 3 and 4. And he's down low. 14 laps down. 16 to go. Wayne Noyes is coming by. Car number 48 coming by. That's Lou Maladrone. There's your leader, Carl Trimmer. George Banghart is now up there with Paul. Car is 75 for George and number 71 for Paul, inching their way ever closer to the front of the pack. Laps not counting under the yellow flag, so we still have 14 in the book. 16 to do. I think he's trying to, George Camp is trying to get George Banghart find a little bit better position than where he currently is. I think suspecting maybe that George moved up inappropriately under the yellow. That's unofficial and just a guess at this time. Rapid Roy Gibson in car number 61.
That's the car that spun out, Tom, in the number 4 corner, but he's back under his own power again after getting a shove off.
A dead tire will take him to the pits. Maybe. He's still going to have some help. Tow truck has him. They begin to make the move. So 14 laps in, 16 up. One more parade lap till we get another restart here in our main event on a Friday night at Raven Raceway. And again, thank you, race fans, for coming out tonight and helping us launch the Friday night portion of the Raven campaign here in '87. Better come early tomorrow night. A massive field of late models. Dwarf racers thrown into that bash too. Gates will be open at 4 tomorrow. Hot laps at 7, racing promptly at 8. And Sunday debuts are off-road and NASCAR Charger Series too. Jack Jacobs will be on hand on Sunday afternoon to bring you all that. Here's the order in which they stand after 14 laps. Carl Trimmer, car 74, first. For you, Rick Sipes is in second place. Then it's 17, Ivan Russell, and we resume racing once again. Funny, Jack, but the only time the margin seems to close between the field and Trimmer is during the cautionary time.
Yes. He's been pulling away from him. Let's see what happens now, though.
There goes Carl, followed by Sipes and Russell and more. All Tucson cars through your first 4 positions. All Carl Trimmer, though, or so it would seem to be at this stage of the race. And we're about halfway through. Carl Trimmer in the lead. There goes Sipes, Russell, and more, and followed by Paul Banghart. So your top 5 cars are all Tucson racers, and here they come, fans, led by Carl Trimmer, who is in fact increasing his lead.
Looks like Ivan Russell is trying to make the move on that car number 4U Budweiser. Rick Sipes.
Let's get a stopwatch on Carl Trimmer here and find out what the distance is. Wolf between there and number 2, 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Rick Sipes just doesn't want to let him in, Tom.
And yellow prevails once again. George Camp goes to the yellow with 18 laps now etched into the record book. 18 down.
That's Wayne Noyes in that car number 50, spun out again in the number 4 corner, Tom.
12 laps to go.
He's certainly having his problems handling that thing tonight.
Well, this is only their second opportunity here in the '87 racing season at Raven to get them out here and test the men, the machine.
I'm sure he'll make some adjustments between tonight and tomorrow. And not to put the damper on Wayne. Wayne's a fine driver from Phoenix. Sponsored by Performance Chevy, Alexander Marine Electric, and challenge engine.
Excuse me. I didn't hit the switch quickly enough there.
That happens.
Little hot dog call. Great hot dogs. Got my first opportunity tonight.
I heard they were giving away some jumbo hot dogs at the beginning of the night tonight. Just giving them away.
So Trimmer seems to be in command here in that car 74, which is a new boat for Carl. He's been having some troubles. I don't think they've been real great getting it flicked up to what his old car used to be. And now Carl's old car is Terry Green's new car, which will be sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet in the weeks ahead. I was hoping to see, and I know Terry Green was hoping to have it in the field tonight. Not so. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for that new blood to enter the racing scene for the first time tomorrow afternoon out here.
Well, I just got a report that Rick Sipes pulled into the pits, the car number 4U, the Budweiser car, with a flat tire.
Oh, no.
And let's see if George holds him up and how fast his pit crew can change that tire. And unfortunately, if he gets back out here, we'll have to, George is going to put him at the back.
To the back of the pack,
yep.
huh?
He'll be tagging the field.
Well, that could be very, very good for the field of spectators, because knowing Sipes, he's likely to stand on it and try to put that Budweiser 4U car right through the center of the field and get back up there at least close to the lead that he has been so close to all night long here in the late model main event. He was only a short time leader. Most of it he's been spending looking up the exhaust pipe and sniffing the fumes of Carl Trimmer in that car 74, the Blue Circle West sponsored car of Carl Trimmer. And a good looking machine.
Yep, here he comes back out on the track. He'll be tagging the field. You know, sometimes, Tom, the yellow flag goes to the advantage of some of these drivers out here. Once that yellow flag comes out, they may be way back of the leader and gets them bunched up once again and have a better opportunity to get up there toward the front.
Sipes in dead last as we look to resume racing. Ought to be interesting to see what kind of a charge. Here we go to green again. Trimmer, Russell, and Moore in that order off the start. Paul Banghart hanging in there, liking to battle for that number 4 spot, perhaps even cut it closer. Trimmer now followed by Jack Moore.
Oh, we've got a spin out in the number 4 corner.
Jack Moore inching into second place, nosing out Ivan Russell just before we went back to the yellow. Carl Trimmer still commanding.
That's Jim Clifton in the car number 13 from Colorado. Jim Clifton spun out there in the number 4 corner.
Jack Moore coming on strong, Jack. We started noticing him coming up in the pack about 5-6 laps ago. Now there he sits, currently running in 3rd position.
It's going to be interesting to see if Jack or Ivan Russell can catch Carl. Carl's car running real well tonight and also holding on to the inside of the track, the place to be when you go around those corners.
Looked to me like Moore had actually passed Russell, but apparently that didn't happen in time for him to get the other placement. Let's go back to green. Trimmer, Russell, Moore, and Banghart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 1 through 2. And here's Carl Trimmer beginning to add the pad. But Ivan Russell this time is sitting in second place and looking pretty if he can speed it up. Jack Moore running 3rd right now. Trimmer, Russell, and Moore down the backstretch. Trimmer seems to be padding his lead as we look at 10 laps till the conclusion. Here comes Trimmer, followed by Ivan Russell, and Jack Moore in that car number 23. Let's see if Moore can out-hustle Ivan Russell in yet this or the next couple of laps. But right now, it's all Carl Tremor up front. Yellow car 74, Russell, then Moore, and Banghart.
Paul Banghart's hanging right in there, right behind Jack Moore.
And not only are they the top 4 runners right now, but they pretty much have the field to themselves. And Trimmer seems to be leading that pack of 4 pretty much authoritatively.
Well, we're approaching lap number 23 with your leader, Carl Trimmer. Just 7 more to go after this.
Lap 23 staring him in the windshield, and Rick Sipes is still playing catch-up in the Budweiser car. Can he do it?
Paul Banghart almost went into the infield that time.
7 laps. Sipes wants to pick it up, but he's got a long way to go to catch that man right there, Carl Trimmer. Russell, Moore, and Banghart holding in that order, and then the rest of your field comes parading by. Here comes Carl out of 3, down low in turn 4, up to the center of the widest 3/8 in the west, parading in front of the stands, and then back to the low road through turns 1 and 2.
Oh, look out at number 4, Tom! Whoa.
Some traffic back there for Carl Trimmer.
Green's still on.
We stay with the green, despite a momentary loss by car number 34. That's Ron Whitwell in Pete Hernandez's car out of Bowie.
Ivan Russell's hanging right in there, right behind Carl.
He's actually closed the field up a little bit from what it was just a lap or 2 ago. And he's opened up the field on that number 3 place, being held down right now by Jack Moore in 23T. So your top 3 as we look at lap 28, Carl Trimmer, Ivan Russell, Jack Moore, and the Bangharts, Paul and George, now running in the top 5 as well. White flag is out for Carl Trimmer, Russell, and Moore, and the rest of the field.
I don't believe he's going to catch him, Tom.
I think Carl has got number 74 perfectly tuned in. Some speculation this last week that he didn't have it in shape. The rest of these drivers are going to beg to differ with you tonight. Good main run, 30 laps of main event. Carl Trimmer in car 74, your winner. Ivan Russell in number 17, second place, and Jack Moore, third.
Well, we'll be seeing Carl Trimmer over at the winner's circle along with the trophy girl, Sherry Ramsey Bishop. So hang around just a little while, folks, and we're going to interview and make a presentation over at Winner's Circle, and then plus the Copper Moon Band is over there going to play some country western music for your enjoyment. So stick around with us for the next hour or two.
Take your time, be careful, help one another inching out of the stands, folks. We invite you to stay with us. As you leave the grandstand proper area, stop out at Victory Lane behind the grandstands, down by the bandstand where Copper Moon will be doing another couple of hours of performing. We're standing by for our track operator, Dave Manus, making his way to Victory Lane right now, Jack, so as he can interview Ivan Russell and all the other guys tonight. But our main spotlight falls on Carl Trimmer, who wins the inaugural Friday night main late model event.
Well, he deserves to win it, Tommy. He's done a fine job of racing out there. His car is running good. It's handling good. He was holding her right on the inside, and nobody could catch him. Also like to recognize the car number 48, Lou Malandrone. He hung right in there tonight. I don't know if Lou was having some problems. He stayed on the outside, but he stayed right in the race for the full race. He's sponsored by Frontier Towing and Parts World and ACI in the Buick number 48.
Jack, let's go ahead, and if the Copper Moon folks are within range of our voice.
Winner's circle of the first one, Carl Trimmer in the blue circle special. I know this is a little special for the whole family. Uh-oh, here comes Mom. Come on, Lola, get over here. Long main event, a lot of spin outs. Maybe be better than mount out, I'm sure it will. We'll put a little extra water on there. Congratulations, Carl Trimmer, Lola, the whole blue circle crew, Tommy and everybody. The main event winner tonight, 30 laps. How about a cassage here? I know Carl knows how to do this. How about a big hand for Carl Trimmer and the blue circle special? Puts Carl right up in front in the point section. We got a good start. A couple of our local drivers. I think we're going to see one of them headed for Nashville here by the end of the year. I think that'd be real special to have one of our drivers go to Nashville. I know Lola would like it, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would love it.
Okay. Enjoy the band tonight. We're going to keep open for a couple hours, let everybody party a little bit. Get your dancing shoes on. Let's have a little fun tonight. We're going to leave the car set here. You can visit with Carl or whoever up here. Thank you very much.
I don't have a